Every one of us has had an unexpected life interruption. Didn't plan on it, it happened. But for the last 19 months, the whole world has experienced an unexpected life interruption. COVID changed everything. On Tuesday, we're at work, the kids are at school. On Wednesday, everybody's home. Everybody's home. Now we have to change everything. Our morning routine, how we get ready. How are we going to teach our children learning remotely when we don't even know what Zoom is? These are all the challenges that we were facing. We have to change our meal times. We're going to have to learn things like Zoom, as I just said, social distancing, physical separation. Do I wear a mask? Do I get a vaccine? When do I get a vaccine? Where do I get a vaccine? It's a mess. And it's improving, but it's still a mess. So what now? What do we do now? How do we cope? Do you even know how to begin to cope with something like this that continues on and on? Well, help's on the horizon. My associates and I are putting together a plan for a series of wellness centers. And they're going to be called We See 3. All right? We, W-E, the letter C, and the number 3. We See 3. You're going to hear a lot more about this in the coming weeks and months, and we hope to have this out in 2022, where it's actually up and operational. Now, one of my associates is my guest today, Dr. Lorna Wiseminer. Minewiser, and I always get her name wrong. And she is an EFT, and we work together and talk all the time, and I still get her name wrong. She is an EFT trainer. She's an advanced practitioner, counselor, and she's dedicated her life to helping people learn and understand that they have more control than they think. So Lorna, welcome to Energy Healing and Integrative Wellness.
Well, thank you, Frank. I am so delighted to be here. I'm going to change my view. Okay, so this is so exciting to be able to be part of this movement in our area to put together this wellness center. It's been my dream since, 25 years ago. And one of the things that I love to do, and what was my first introduction to this whole area of energy and energy psychology, is the EFT tapping on the meridian points. And I do a lot of other energy work as well, but I am a trainer, a master trainer for EFT, and have done that for the last 12 years or so.
Perfect. What are you seeing in your practice, Lorna, particularly in the last 19 months?
Oh, people are so stressed and so anxious, and a lot of people are having trouble sleeping. Unfortunately, a lot more depression. It's like, when is this going to end? What are we going to do? That feeling of powerlessness, that hopelessness is, it's higher than it used to be.
It's unbelievable, the stuff that we're seeing. Now, people go to doctors. We had Dr. Drew Factor, who we both know. He was our guest on the last show. And he has said, the Western medicine model of take 2 pills and call me in the morning, not working. Now, in your opinion, in your learned opinion, why is this the case?
Well, unfortunately, pharmaceuticals help reduce symptoms. And when you have something going on and it reduces the symptoms, whatever is underlying that, when you stop the pill, the issue is still there. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things that energy psychology does is to help to get to those core issues, those underlying issues that are driving the anxiety, that are driving the depression, that are driving the feelings of hopelessness. So that's why, it's fine to take a pill and feel better for a while, but then you got to take another pill, and then you got to take another pill. And unfortunately, you have to take a pill to address the side effects of the pill you're taking, and then you have to take another pill to address the side effects of that. And so you have this whole pharmacopoeia of things that you have to do, and the issue is still there.
Exactly. I've heard you say that the key to self-care is to connect to support systems, and have a sustainable process. So this is not a one-time thing. I think people in their minds say, I take a pill and I'm going to be better like that. Not the case. And in energy healing, that's also, it's a lifestyle. Is that correct?
Yes, and the thing is, you can have what we call 1-minute wonders. Like I had a 1-minute wonder when I was introduced to tapping for the first time. I'd had a phobia, actual phobia of heights, and had a panic attack trying to come down a mountain about 30 years ago now. And then Jack Canfield, at a conference I was at, introduced the tapping, and my fear of heights went away. So sometimes we have this 1-minute wonder where things disappear. But with energy psychology, what we're doing is peeling off the layers. For me, that fear of heights was a simple fear, simple phobia. It wasn't complex. Mm-hmm. So one of the things we deal with, and I imagine Dr. Drew talked about the adverse childhood experiences. You know, EFT and energy psychology is really good at helping people release the toxic, negative emotions about experiences that they've had. And so that they can say, yeah, I had that experience, but it doesn't bother me anymore. It's not who I am. That was then, this is now. And so, it sometimes takes several sessions. Sometimes it takes a lot of sessions, depending on what kinds of issues people have. Sometimes things disappear in a couple of sessions. So, but what I love about like EFT especially is that I teach it to you, I demonstrate it to you in my office or on Zoom or whatever. And then you can take it home and do it in between sessions, and you can work out on your own. It's something you have for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm. Incredible. Now there's additional modalities that we have discussed and looked at in the past. There's EFT, and then there's other tapping and havening. Explain those a little bit.
Okay, so EFT grew out of TFT, thought field therapy, which is Roger Callahan discovered that tapping on the acupuncture points in a systemized manner could alleviate. We started with fears and phobias, but then all kinds of things, pain and distress. And then Gary Craig said, why do we have to figure out which points to tap on? Why don't we just tap on, these basic points? And so that kind of, was the next step, and that's emotional freedom technique, or EFT. Ulf Sandstrom and Gunilla Hamna, who are humanitarians, go to a lot of different countries that they don't speak English or Swedish, they're from Sweden. And so they figured out a way to do the silent tapping or the trauma tapping technique. So tapping on yourself without having to do the words. And then they also incorporate something that's called havening. We can perhaps do a longer session on sometime, but it's about how touch, especially with intention, can shift not just your energy field, but it shifts hormones, it shifts neurotransmitters, causes all kinds of beneficial changes in the body.
Mm-hmm. Some of the people we've had on, Lorna, have said, the individual one is wonderful, but we live in a community, and having the group is so important that I'm not in this alone. And some of the things I've heard you say is veterans, people incarcerated, schools, support groups like ACE, people with childhood adverse situations, stress groups, blood pressure, anxiety. Is that the case? Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. There's a couple of things that happen. Is when you're in a group, especially like with what Ulf and Gunilla, they have like the trauma focus group where somebody, they're refugees or their village has been decimated. There's a shared energy field of trauma. And when you take these techniques in and help share it, there becomes a shared energy field of healing. And so I've worked with veterans for the last 8 years, I think. And I started one-on-one. I was part of the Veteran Stress Project and have published articles about that. And then I've, over the last 6 or 7 years since I've been here in Sacramento, I've gone to the veteran women's program, either their monthly program, and done the tapping and the havening, showed them the thing. And they have a conference well, they used to, I don't know what they're doing now. And I would go and do several sessions of stress reduction using the tapping. So I found that, when you do it in a group, there's, even though if I'm working one-on-one with you, there's something we call borrowing benefits. And this has grown out of experience, is that if somebody's watching us or in a group with us or watching this video even later, and they say, oh, well, if we work on something like, I worked with somebody yesterday, I had a pain in his knee. And so we worked on his knee, but his wife was in the same room and she was working on a pain someplace else. And for both of them, their pain dropped dramatically. Mm-hmm. So that happens. I've done that in veterans group, where you work on one person's pain and everybody else sees a shift. Mm-hmm. So we haven't really found a way to measure exactly what's going on, but we have outcome studies that show that the group energy shift is sometimes almost miraculous.
Mm-hmm. Incredible. We had a conversation once where we've all been to conferences, and everybody listening has been to conferences, and we've had more than we care to be at. And we all walk away with volumes and bags of stuff. And then we get back home or to work and we throw it in the corner and we don't look at it again. Next year, we empty the bag and go pick up more stuff. Okay. So that the motivation at the moment is high, but it goes away. Now, it sounds like what we're preparing with the WeC3 are a set of tools that are repeatable.
Yes. Yes. Because, the thing is this is something that is a lifestyle change. It's a lifestyle. And we all need reminders. We all need, we start doing it and then we drop off. It's like New Year's resolutions and
right.
Go to the gym. But what we want to do with our center is to have, hopefully when we have a place, but when we want to bring this into, like you said, prisons and schools and organizations, and to bring it in. And what the people from Sweden do, often Gunilla, is they'll go into a group and they'll teach 20 or so people how to do this, and they ask them to share it with 5 other people. Because when you teach something, it becomes more your own. And so then they'll go back a month later, 6 months later, whatever. And from 20 people, it becomes 200 people doing it because each person is sharing it. So one of the things we want to do is to have that kind of support where we can, go back and into these organizations and support people in making shifts. Because the initial group might be, 5 people who are interested and want to do it. And the next group might be 15 people. And the next group might be 30 people. Mm-hmm. But, the more we can have this reminders of how to shift your energy, the more experiences we have, the better we are.
Exactly. And the approach is, while we're in the COVID world, a lot of this will be virtual, which has worked very well for you, I understand. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, all my work is virtual now.
And then as things settle down, then there'll be physical buildings and people can come in groups. One of the things that's been really interesting in the COVID world is the relationships that have been built with people who have never met each other and probably never will. And now we're offering them this tool set and ongoing reinforcement, which could be virtual. Is that what you're seeing? That people from
yes, definitely, yes. Well, and back pre-COVID, when I used to train students in EFT, they would come to a space. It could be my office space or a classroom or something, and I would train, and they would work together, and it would be a 3-day or a 2-day or 4-day, whatever it was. And then after that, people want to continue to use it. And so I have a monthly mentor day. So people who are learning EFT or got certified in EFT, every month there's the opportunity to get together and to share with other people, to bring up questions. How do I do this? I had this client that. So as professionals, we continue to do that. And for me, it's been wonderful to be able to continue this connection. And for the students, it has been too. So I can see with what we do with the We3C Center is to have this ongoing availability that people can tap into and tap, no pun intended, but that so that there's a sense of connection and community. And it's, that to me is a big part of it. I've been studying, I love to learn. And so I've been studying what's called Polyvagal Theory. And it's about how our nervous system works. But one of the things they talk a lot about is that we are hardwired to be in relationship, and that we need to feel safety in a relationship. And so a lot of these tools that that you're sharing, that I share, help to build that sense of safety in your body, in your environment. And then that leads to, maybe I'm, naive, but, I can see the growth of this to being not just in Sacramento, not just in California. Elfin Ganilla have done it all over Africa and the Middle East, other places as well. And this could, change the world.
That's the idea.
The transformation. To me, it's about transformation.
Exactly. It's not a transaction. It's not a one-time thing where you feel good. Okay, wonderful. But it's a transformation that occurs. And the other thing that's been really intriguing to me, Lorna, as we've gone through this, is the number of other practitioners, other than tapping, who are very excited to be in this. What are some of the other modalities that you see we're bringing to the party?
Well, I'm saying my internet connection's unstable. I'm sorry. We have quite a few in energy psychology because like tapping is with the meridian system, like we use in acupuncture. But there are also the chakras, and those are, let me step back a bit. So we're all energy. Everything's energy. There's a giant energy field that's around everything. We have our own personal energy field, which is called the biofield, or it's called the aura. And some of the energy technologies work in that field, in the external field. And energy medicine does that as well. But then that energy comes in to our bodies from our personal field into the chakras, and chakras are spinning wheels of energy. And some energy techniques work with the chakras. And then the chakras then spread that energy out to the meridians. And tapping works on points on the meridians. There's also ways of, like that with the havening, actually you are running your hands down the what we call the fight or flight meridian. So you're calming your nervous system. And so what we want to do is to share as many techniques as we can and highlight, local practitioners, so people can say, I heard you say, well, I didn't care as much for the tapping as I did for the havening. Somebody else might say, that doesn't feel good for me, but I really like the tapping. So what we want to do is be able to offer these tools to help people help themselves.
Exactly. And the response from practitioners has been overwhelming.
Great.
That they see, well, I have my practice, my own little practice here, but now we're adding some structure, and I have the ability to interact with a number of different people. And it's going to be something where we can monitor the progress, as opposed to you come in one time, Like Dr. Factor said, come in, take 2 pills, go away, and never see you again. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Lorna, what are some of the warning signs that people should be aware of if they're in this situation or they're coming and they're going back to work? What are some of the warning signs you see when people come to see you?
So what I see is a lot of irritability, a lot of anxiety, and the stress shows up in physiology, headaches, neck aches, stomach aches, upset digestive system. There's unfortunately there seems to be an uprise of anger. There's people are angry about whatever. They're angry that people wear masks. They're angry that people don't wear masks. They're angry at this. They're angry at that. So there's this opposing as well. But that anger is usually underlying that is fear. So a lot of people are really afraid, and afraid of losing their rights, afraid of getting COVID, afraid of losing their jobs, their income, and this atmosphere of uncertainty. A year and a half ago when Gabby Ori contacted me about doing this was right before COVID started. We started talking about a healing center and with Drew, and then you came into our group. We figured that, okay, we could go and build a healing center and have this already. And this last year, 18 months, we haven't been able to say, yeah, we could invite people in. And we, at this point in time, October 2021, we still don't know. So this sense of powerlessness and uncertainty is taking its toll on everybody.
It's so true. So if someone walks in to see you and they say, I'm irritable, I'm snapping at everybody, everything upsets me, everything annoys me. This is becoming anger to the point where I don't even like me. And they come to see you and you're going to do a tapping thing. Would you show us what a tapping demonstration? Sure.
Would you be my client?
I will be happy to.
Okay. So I'll just show you how we do this. And, it's just one of the ways in. So if that's what you come into me and saying, that you're, and your thing froze a little bit, so I didn't hear a couple of the words, but you're feeling angry, and what was the other word you used?
Irritable.
Okay. So I would ask you, on a scale of 0 to 10, with 0 doesn't bother you at all and 10 being the worst it could be, how I'm going to start with the irritable, because that's maybe a little bit more manageable in the short period of time we have.
Okay.
So how irritable do you feel right now?
I would say it's an 8. I just am upset with everything.
Okay. And where do you feel it most in your body?
In my chest.
Okay. And what's that like on your chest? Is it pressure? Is it tingling? Is it?
Yeah, it almost feels like a pressure. Somebody's standing on me.
Somebody's standing. Okay.
Or something sitting on me, and I can't.
Yeah, an elephant on your chest.
Yes, yeah. The elephant in the room.
Yeah. Okay. And so that also perhaps is a sense of being trapped or powerless.
It's almost hopelessness. I can't move. Okay. I can't get it off. I know what I want to do, but I can't do it.
I know that I can't. And why I'm writing it down is because with EFT, it's important to use your words.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll just lead you through. I've done EFT even on the telephone, where people can't see. I usually send out the points on a sheet of paper so people can see, but I always say them. I worked on the telephone for the first 10 years, so I'm used to saying where I am as far as tapping. So the the first part is called the setup statement. So we're going to state the problem. And for people who use the law of attraction, they say, oh, you're starting with a negative. But it's not really, it may be negative, but what we're doing is starting with what the problem is. We're stating the problem. And then the second part of the setup statement is an affirmation. The typical one is, I love and accept myself. And I always ask my clients if they can say that, because some people can't.
Mhm.
Is that something that's easy for you to say?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll do that. We might, come up with some other statement for that if people can't easily say that. So we start with tapping on the side of the hand. It used to be called the karate chop point, but now, though some of the older things that you look at or here, they call it karate chop, but it's, the outside of the hand. Some
Mhm.
people think it's here, but it's, on the some side, but it's a little finger side. And we usually tap with 2, 3, or 4 fingers.
Okay.
Okay. And then just follow along with me with the words. And it helps if you can say them out loud. Some
Okay.
people can't. So even though I am feeling really irritable,
Even though I'm feeling very irritable,
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
Even though this irritation is at an 8,
Even though the irritation is an 8,
I love and accept myself anyway.
I love and accept myself anyway.
Even though this irritation is in my chest,
Even though the irritation's in my chest,
like something sitting on my chest,
like something's sitting on it.
and I really would like to release some of that
I really would like to release some of that
because I deserve it.
because I deserve it.
So then I start at the top of the head, which is just right kind of in the top of the head.
Okay.
This irritation.
This irritation.
And then we move down to the eyebrow point, which is just right where the eyebrows start.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This irritation, it's an 8.
This irritation is an 8.
And then we go around to the side of the eyes here. It's in my chest.
It's in my chest.
And we're stuck again.
Okay.
It's in my chest.
It's in my chest.
And then under the eye, it's an 8.
It's an 8.
And under the nose, it's like something sitting on my chest.
It's like something sitting on my chest.
And I can't move.
I can't move.
I know what I want to do,
I know what I want to do,
but I just can't do it.
but I just can't do it.
It's in my chest.
It's in my chest.
It's an 8.
It's an 8.
This irritability.
It's irritability.
I just can't move.
I just can't move.
This pressure in my chest.
The pressure's in my chest.
Pressure.
Just pressure.
This irritability.
It's irritability.
I just don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do.
So just now take a breath, let it out, and just go back into your chest area and just ask yourself, where's the irritation now? Is it gone up? Is it gone down? Is it changed? Does it feel different? Just kind of check it out and see.
There would be, as a sense of more calm and more relaxation. And it seems as if the weight has been lessened, maybe not taken off completely, but
Right.
it's now lessened where I feel I can do something now.
Okay. Okay. And so what number would you give it now?
4.
4. Well, it's a substantial drop. Okay. So let's do a second round because
Okay.
maybe we can get it down to a 2 or 1 or get rid of it.
Okay.
Okay. So even though I have this irritability,
Even though I have this irritability,
and it's an 8,
and it's an 8,
and it was an 8,
was an 8,
and it's gone down to a 4.
it's gone down to a 4.
And I love and accept myself.
And I love and accept myself.
So even though I still have some of this irritability,
Even though I still have some of this irritability,
I really would like to let it go
I would like to let it go
because I deserve it.
because I deserve it.
So even though it was an 8,
Even though it was an 8,
and now it's a 4,
now it's a 4.
and the weight on my chest has lessened,
Weight on my chest has lessened.
I'm open to it releasing all of it.
I'm open to releasing all of it.
So this irritability in my chest,
This irritability in my chest,
it's a 4.
it's a 4.
It's not as much pressure as it was.
It's not as much pressure as it was.
The weight has lifted somewhat,
The weight is lifted.
but it's still there.
It's still there.
I'd like to release more.
I'd like to release more.
I deserve to release more.
I deserve to release more.
Maybe I can just take a deep breath and release more.
Take a deep breath and release more.
Okay, so now go back in and check.
Oh, it's incredible. The calmness that comes from these very short sessions. And as an individual starts to experience it again, it's almost like a trigger. Once the trigger starts again, they can refer back to this.
Right.
This
So
model.
so let's just do a real quick, what we call sneaking away.
Okay.
Because the stuff that's out there is still out there. The stuff that irritated you is still out there.
Yes.
Okay. So even though there's lots of irritating stuff out there,
Even though there's lots of irritating stuff out there,
and I've been irritated for a long time,
and I've been irritated for a long time,
and now I feel calm,
now I feel calm,
and I'd like to continue to be able to feel calm.
and I like to be able to continue to feel calm.
So even though I can get triggered and irritated,
Even though I can be triggered and irritated,
I can also tap and be calm.
I can also tap and be calm. I like that.
Yeah. So even though something that irritated me this morning
Something that irritated me this morning
might irritate me again tomorrow,
might irritate me again tomorrow.
I can take a few moments to tap
I can take out a few moments to tap
and breathe
and breathe
and get back to this calm space
and get back to the calm space
because I deserve it.
because I deserve it.
The tapping on the top of your head. Oh, there's irritating things out there.
There's so many irritating things out there.
Eyebrow point. And I do know how to get irritated.
I do know how to get irritated.
Side of the eye. But now I know how to tap and be calm.
Now I know how to tap and become calm.
I can just find where it is on my body
I can find where it is on my body
and tap and release it.
and tap and release it.
Because I deserve to be able to be calm.
I deserve to be able to be calm.
So I can take a few moments to take care of myself
I can take a few moments to take care of myself
and not be stuck in this irritability.
and not be stuck in this irritability. Deep breath. Wow. It's amazing.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
It's
I've been doing this
amazing.
30 years and it's still always
It's just
amazing.
amazing. It's the self-care, and we're seeing more and more about this in the press, and that you have to take care of yourself. And the hard driving, when I came up in the corporate world, it was your life is, you have no life. Your life is your job. And we're seeing more and more people moving away from that model, particularly as COVID came along, that, I am worth more than that, and I'm going to take care of me. And if the current medical system is not doing that for me, then I'm going to try, and I'm going to be looking for these kind of steps and tools.
Right.
So what you're doing is just extremely important. Any last things you'd like to leave with our guests, with our viewers?
Well, and for the, I guess the skeptics that might somehow be drawn to watch this, I want to just mention that there's over 275 articles in professional peer-reviewed journals, and most of those in the last 10 years. And it's been used for, like you mentioned, veterans, for veterans with PTSD. And it can, once you start using it in your life, it can really change your life. I mean, I mentioned in our call this morning that one of the veterans that I worked with in the Vet Stress Project 7 years ago, called me to tell me that he had gotten triggered by something. This is a veteran, and he'd gotten triggered by something that he saw with the Afghanistan trauma that was going on the last couple of weeks, and that he tapped and he was able to release it. And he wanted to tell me how much he appreciated my teaching him how to tap, because it really changed his life. So, you know, when you hear stories like that, it's like, I got to get this out there to as many people as possible.
Absolutely. Well, as I mentioned, ladies and gentlemen, we're just about out of time. I want to thank Dr. Lorna again for bringing us up to date on the We See 3 wellness program that she is a major part of, and showing us how that we can take control of our own self-care, which is very, very important. Regarding the We See 3 offering, we'll be interviewing a number of different practitioners over the coming weeks. And so you're going to hear more and more about this and see more and more about it over time. If you'd like more information about Dr. Lorna or the We See 3 program, send us an email. It's going to appear at the end of this show. You'll see the email, which is wec3wellness@gmail.com. We want to hear from you. We want to get your advice. We want to hear what you think. And if there are people that you know within the practitioner world that would like to be on the show, we'd love to talk with them also. Now, you can see this on ROKU TV or on my YouTube channel, which is Frank Zaccari. And if you watch it on YouTube, please subscribe. Now, let me leave you with this, as we do every week. None of us are in this alone. And the secret to walking on water is to know where the rocks are. And today, Dr. Lorna showed us where many of those rocks are. Join me next week. We get into another energy healing and alternative wellness conversation. Thank you again.
Thank you. Appreciate it.